It's the penultimate home game of the 2021 regular season for Lou City, and the fight for the Central Division is squarely up for grabs. Tonight, Sporting Kansas City II and Jacob Davis with his 6 assists come to town, looking to take their first points off Louisville this season, while Brian Ownby will look to keep up his hot form against SKC II. Lou City, SKC II, next. We're getting down to it in the USL Championship. Just a few weeks left of this regular season. And tonight, from Lynn Family Stadium, Lou City playing host to Sporting Kansas City II. Tonight's match brought to you by Baptist Health, the exclusive sports medicine provider of Louisville City FC. With Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us. Always great to be here at Lynn Family Stadium. A look at the Central Division standings, where Lou City's still hanging tough at the top.
9 points back with 4 games to play for the #1 overall seed in the USL Championship. Is it out of reach? Mathematically, no. But this is the point in time where Louisville City, Brigham, they're going to start to distance themselves, not just from the Central Division, but their opponents on the other side. Remember, first round of the playoffs after seeding goes to overall points. You want to have the opportunity, no matter what, to have home field advantage.
And you saw that X next to Louisville. It's because they're in the playoffs again.
Shocking. 7 straight postseason appearance, Eastern Conference finalist every single year. But I want you to hone in on this. Currently 6 unbeaten. 4 out of the last 5 seasons, they've gone at least double digits unbeaten throughout the season. If they started that today, they could get to 11. The difference is August, September, October. Their record coming down the stretch, Josh, has always been fantastic. This year, not so much. A lot of draws on the road, but the most important thing is only 2 losses so far. 5 games remaining, can still make that double digits. And of course, the most important one, the question marks. What's the postseason result going to be?
And on the other side for SKC II, the man to watch, Enoch Musagalusa, scored last time out.
He's a menace, an absolute menace all over the pitch. It's about his speed for sure. But as he's growing as a professional, you'll notice the decision-making. The decision-making is getting much better. Always willing to challenge in one-on-one situations, but he recognizes the support. So he'll break you down in open areas, but he'll slow the game down too, gets jiggy with it, does whatever he wants in the final third, and most importantly, the kid has fun. He loves to play the game.
And we're about to have a whole lot of fun. A fun 90 minutes upcoming from Lynn Family Stadium. Lineups and first kick on the other side.
At Mortensen Family Dental, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to keep your smile healthy. That's why we provide convenient online scheduling for new patients, accept most dental insurances, and offer an affordable dental discount club for those without insurance. All the while keeping your family's safety our top priority. Call or visit us online to make an appointment. We'll give you a reason to smile.
Commonwealth Credit Union has been ranked Best In-State Credit Union in Forbes magazine for a 3rd time. When we opened our doors in 1951, we named ourselves Commonwealth to remind us every day of who we're here to serve. Our friends, our neighbors, right here in the Bluegrass. And we've been bettering lives in our communities ever since. If you've never tried Commonwealth Credit Union before, come check out what you've been missing. Because here, we see you differently.
Our workday starts at 4 a.m. Are you surprised at the people who are up working at the crack of dawn?
You know, we talk about UPS, we talk about Ford, we talk about healthcare, people getting off their shift and coming home and trying to chill out. And those are the folks who we're talking to, the hardworking folks that are making our economy move.
You know, I run into a couple of people that are bus drivers for the school systems. They get up very early and they want to see the weather forecast, and they also want to see that traffic.
I'm a landscaper, I do paving work, I do roofing work, and they really are counting on us to give them a forecast.
Want to take the dog out for a walk. The kids are going to go to the playground. Is it going to rain at this exact same time? Get them ready at 5 a.m. and the day keeps on going.
I have a lot of farmers and people who work outside, like construction workers or builders. They always tell me they get up with us early because they need to prepare for the day and find out what the weather is.
You get to appreciate, you know, the people who do those jobs. It's an honor, you know, to help them get through their day.
A great night here under the lights at Lynn Family Stadium. Tonight's match is presented by Baptist Health. Louisville City SKC II. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups presented by Hometown Pizza.
This Louisville City squad is looking to continue some of the form we saw at the start of the New Mexico United game, Josh, in complete balance, creating second most chances in the entire league behind Phoenix Rising. Giving up the least amount of opportunities, but they're squeaking goals down the stretch. So look for balance offensively, defensively. Only change is Pat McMahon. Jimenez goes to his familiar left side in the absence of Jonathan Gomez. I would really like to see this team coming down the stretch put together a full 90. And in order to do that, you need to lean on some of your veterans for those complete performances. Sean Tosh always leads back to front. He's been great over the course of this season. Last game a little off. Time to get back on track.
And he is our Commonwealth Credit Union player to watch. They've been bettering lives in the communities they serve for 70 years. To learn more, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. And on the other side, here's the 11 for Sporting KC2.
Nagamura himself following Danny Cruz's lead. Only one change in his young lineup. Peter Kuich comes to the inside. I love Ozzy Cisneros and the relationship that he's created with Jake Davis. Davis, as you mentioned, 6 assists on the season. Their creativity level, though, also depends on the front three and their movement. Tons of speed, but how much space can they actually create when you've got such a talented back line from Louisville City? That comes to Louisville City being calculated defensively and the front three pushing the envelope when they go in transition.
And that gets us ready to go under the lights here in mid-October. It's Louisville City in those white kits, those special edition white kits, and it's SKC II in dark blue, and we are underway from Louisville, Kentucky. So this Louisville City side coming in off that 3-1 win last Sunday against New Mexico. Aldo Piccolo getting on the score sheet again for Louisville City. He's been dangerous out of that midfield. On the other side, Sporting Kansas City II officially eliminated from playoff contention, but they went to Memphis, a 3-1 loss. And we talked to Danny Cruz about that. He said, you wake up, you look at the scoreboard, and you say, oh, they lost 3-1. But he watched the game. He said it was a lot closer than the scoreboard may indicate.
It's very similar to the performances you see out of Loudoun in the Atlantic Division, where these teams are always going quick. There is a bigger picture for Sporting Kansas City II. We know that, but how do you keep them motivated when maybe some of these guys aren't getting the reps within their MLS squad and they have been eliminated in the playoff picture? They never have an issue looking for motivation. Expect the same.
Ownby cutting in field. And now we'll play this all the way back for McMahon to chase. Talked about Ownby in the open. 2 goals, 4 assists against SKC II this season. Definitely a player to watch, and Louisville City has scored plenty of goals in this series so far over the first 3 matches. 4 goals twice, and they got 2 goals in that second meeting, the 2-1 win back at the end of July.
Josh, think about the opponents that Sporting Kansas City II has gone toe-to-toe with in recent fashion. The 1-0 on October 1st against Birmingham Legion, that wasn't an easy win. You had a nice draw at home against FC Tulsa. They took down Energy FC 3-0. A lot of teams in playoff position currently in the Central they've been able to keep up with.
Openo, early ball in. It was behind Lancaster. Not sure he thought it was going to roll through clean. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Ownby, good move to get around the defense. Good ball in. Openo was there. McIntosh might have gotten a touch, but the flag was up for offside.
Brian Ownby once again never shy of a challenge, and he has just gone on to another level this season. I talked about his health last time in the New Mexico United game, but his understanding of where the space is and then how to break a player down with split-second reactionary time and then find one of the streaking runs on the inside. Next level stuff from Brian Ownby this year.
tonight, Kendall McIntosh, the 27-year-old, his 12th start. Also started a few weeks ago in the previous match here at Lynn Family Stadium back on August 7th, a 4-1 win for Louisville City. He's also trying to go quick. Tonight's referee, Nabil Ben Salah, slowing things down for a minute. Jimenez. Good depth to this cross. Ownby for Del Piccolo. Little back heel flick. And Lancaster was so close. The anniversary of his, at the time then, record-breaking goal, and he nearly found another one here.
We just talked about Brian Ownby and how good he's been this season, but Del Piccolo taking candy from babies out here. Check this little touch. Absolutely incredible from their captain to find Lancaster.
Louisville City really seems up for it here in the opening 4 minutes. Tosh sends the cross in, and there's nobody there. Center back found himself in an attacking position. Tonight's Keys to the Game, powered by the Kentucky Lottery, who reminds you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program.
Gave you a peek behind the curtain, referencing the speed from the front three and how much separation could they create. What they need is isolated one-on-ones. Mushagalusa, Wilson Harris, and Bunbury, the ability to get involved in small areas or in open space, but most importantly, with one runner against them, that can favor that attacking core. And then what do the defensive transitions look like for Louisville City? Oh, so important against Sporting Kansas City II, but it has been something that has plagued them throughout their matches over the past couple of weeks. Yes, they want to keep goals from out of the back of the net, but more importantly, stop chasing in defensive transitions. Set yourself up for success early as one unit instead of chasing with one or two guys.
There's Rod. SKC trying to get something going early in this match. They've only scored the first goal 8 times this season.
Go KP! Go KP!
Long ball down the right, and skipping out of play too far for Caden Pierre. Nagamura, the 38-year-old, trying to see this to the finish line here in 2021. Chance for them to play spoiler here down the stretch.
Where have we heard that before? It's 2020 all over again. And the crazy group that was Louisville City, Sporting Kansas City II, of course, our friends that are no more, St. Louis FC. Some fun battles last year.
Group E will go down in history.
Oh, possibly the best group in the entire championship last year.
Here's Ownby trying to turn the corner and does. Ownby put it in a good area. McIntosh got a fist to punch it away. That's LaFleur on the far side for SKC II. That will have his hands full with Ownby tonight. He's been able to feast on SKC II this season.
Another one of those young academy of players that they acquired from just outside of their discovery territory, the Minneapolis, Minnesota native. Signed him in July of last year, and Isaiah LaFleur, you watch him play, he's really good from a linear standpoint, but struggles.
Here's Del Piccolo! It's another for Paulo Del Piccolo. It's set up by Brian Ownby. That had been coming. It's 1-0 to Louisville City.
Been saying for quite some time, this team has been looking for those trailing runs. Paulo Del Piccolo graced us with his presence in the New Mexico United game. 2 goals in that first half to help distance themselves in the playoff race, in the Eastern Conference, in the Central, And then what a start here. Brian Ownby once again knows exactly where that trailing run's supposed to come from. Cameron Lancaster operates the space on the backside, isolates two defenders. That opens up the penalty run for Del Piccolo. Sticks this into the back of the net, and how about Brian Ownby? 30 regular season assists. Joins himself in some kind of club historically in the USL Championship.
And that goal is presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery. It's also his 5th assist now against SKC II this season. And now another game with a goal for Paolo Del Piccolo, as he is up to 8 on the season. Now it's Brian Ownby again. They're looking for more. Rod tracking back, deflecting this out, corner kick.
Because of course, when Brian Ownby knocks one back, wants to be the recipient, of a good ball back through. Paolo Del Piccolo, 8 goals on the season now. Go figure. Who'd have thunk it? What a step up it's been over the past couple of games for Paolo Del Piccolo. Brian Ownby has been the constant. Absolutely saying to his boys, let's keep it going, keep it up.
It's a vivified corner kick for Louisville City. Jimenez. He's good with both feet. He'll take this one with the right. Curling this in towards McIntosh. Pushes this away as far as McMahon. And now it's cleared. Openo. Picked off again. Push on the far side. Openo goes down. Free kick, Louisville City.
This has got to be a quick conversation from Kendall McIntosh, their goalkeeper, to settle this back line down. Chasing is one thing. Scrambling is a whole nother. They're having trouble playing out of the back. Great press coming from Louisville City. The pressure just pinning them down into the corners, and that outlet ball, that's got to be a shout to the front line, Josh. You've got to ask Musagalusa, Wilson Harris, and Boberry to come a bit deeper to help out right now, because their initial line is just much too deep.
It's a 5th, 3rd free kick for Louisville City. Lancaster, Del Piccolo standing around it. Looks like it's Lancaster. Putting this in a good area, trying to pick out maybe that back post. Tosh made the run. It goes all the way through for a goal kick.
It's a beautiful ball whipped in. Not exactly sure what happened with Tosh. There are a couple bodies in front of him. Maybe felt like he was screened, and that is exactly what happens. Graham Smith, last ditch by the center back, just throws his body in front of Sean Tosh, because that's got 2-0 written all over it.
Jimenez just let that run too far. Wilson Harris trying to go quickly. The referee saying he took too many steps forward. We'll bring this back. Four plays this in behind. Musagalusa double teamed on the far side. Trying to find some space and ran out of room. Look at Danny Cruz, who said overall he was happy with the football his side played last time out against New Mexico, but he said there's the theme where we've conceded just some goals when we've had so much control over the match, and that could be an issue come playoff time.
I would say it's almost every game that they've played in. The term that he used was the Achilles heel, right? I mean, think about the control that they've exhibited over their opponents, because not many a team around the championship, Josh, have the ability to look back on their games and said, yeah, we were in full control every single match. Louisville City can say that, because even when some of their form within a match started to fade, if you've got a goal or 2-goal lead, you are still in control. from a scoring standpoint, you've got the lead. So you may be trailing in terms of passing and chasing a little bit on the possession side, but you've got the most important number that matters in the scoreboard, and they've had that. But can you now shore yourself up defensively? You know, they were fantastic for 30, 35 minutes in that first half against New Mexico United, and then gift the goal just before halftime, come out a little flat at the start of the second, and they chased for the majority of the second half. Final 10, 15 minutes, they got back into it, but against a team that starts quicker or finishes better, you're in trouble. You come up against your Miamis. We saw what they just did against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in their comeback. These teams will take you to the ropes and back.
And that's a Pittsburgh side that does not usually give up those results from winning positions when they get that first goal, much like you just saw with Louisville City, that one loss. On the other side, though, for SKC II, they do not have the best record when conceding first, just 1-13-2. Jimenez. They get by Bunbury. Advantage being played by the referee. Headed into space. Looked like Tosh got himself in a tough position. That'll be a yellow card. Really nothing he could do other than that.
It's a bit strict because it is the first foul for Sean Tosh. The problem is there's so much daylight to run into here on the overlapping run. There's that direct movement that I talked about for Isaiah LaFleur. Good look at his speed, gets that touch right out in front of Sean Tosh, and Tosh is trying to get there before him, just not as fleet of foot as the youngster in LaFleur.
It's a Vivify yellow card to Sean Tosh. Pierre. Mushagalusa. And SKC II will take some time on the ball here. Trying to break down this well-organized back line of Louisville City.
This is one of the great things, though, in terms of the pressing shape for Louisville City that they have missed from the absence of Corbin Bone's injury. It's that step up out of the midfield when they go high, and not go high within the opponent's territory, but when you're trying to break a team down around midfield or just inside. Corbin Bone will give you that extra branch. He'll come out of the midfield, he'll step up next to Cameron Lancaster and provided almost a dual impact type where you can push one way, but you won't allow them to play backward. Much better balance defensively. Brian Omby can shore it up on the right. If you shift left, Antoine Openo slides in through, and then of course you've got Paolo Del Piccolo and Napo Masoso that'll turn into a double pivot and close down the interior passing lane.
This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Oh, easy.
It's a high boot by Bunbury. Referee will not allow that, and Louisville will get it going again.
It's close enough. It's almost a date. Easy. Ooh.
Bunbury, the 16-year-old, another one of those players from Minnesota. I know his older brother Teal, his father Alex, who played for the Kansas City Wizards.
Family's legends within this community, right?
Sure are.
Think about what Teal did for all that time for Sporting KC, 4th overall pick back in 2010. Not bad, just 24 goals and 8 assists in 105 games.
Sure.
Just throw something together in a career. MLS Cup winner, Open Cup winner. He's part of
He might be a Supporters
Revolution
Shield
fan.
winner
I was
this
just going to
year,
say,
yeah.
he's part of the Revolution team right now that's doing some things within MLS in their own right. But it doesn't mean anything unless those two then have children, and then it becomes 3 generations.
Sure.
2 generations and 2 sons is not enough, right?
Exactly. Looking for that run of own beat, and it runs through again for McIntosh. Bit more time on the ball here from SKC II. Still Louisville not making it easy.
I don't think I've ever seen a team more committed to that opening window in a game. 15, 20, 25 minutes within the press. You know, the 100 miles an hour, Mach 1 with your hair on fire, than I have in a Louisville City team.
You saying consistently, or
Yes.
in this game tonight?
No, consistently. If you notice, they always start so fast. Now, sometimes they're not able to complete some of those chances, and it comes back to haunt them. But they are one of the more impressive starting teams in the championship, and it sets the tempo for a game. And as an opponent, Josh, it's really difficult, especially when you're playing different teams and different styles. It's hard to get acclimated to what's being thrown at you in general, yet alone the fact that there's so much constant pressure. And then you go down 1-0, or then it's 2-0. And all of a sudden you're scrambling within a game and you're just like, the whistle just blew. What's going on here? You and I get an opportunity to see a lot of teams around this league. And I've mentioned this on air with you a couple of times because it's a quote we got from Rick Shantz at Phoenix Rising. One of his most famous quotes to me has always been, our mantra is blow the whistle, watch out, and here it comes. I feel like that's the perfect personification of Louisville City. Because they never start slow, right? Haven't necessarily finished the most impressive recently. But their start, can't match it.
Tosh cutting over and cutting that one out, and wins a throw-in. So do you feel like for them more than others, it's so important to get that first goal, as opposed to maybe a Miami who maybe they don't want to go behind, but they have come from behind many times?
I would just phrase it in the sense that for Louisville City, a team that is struggling for an overall performance in that complete 90 minutes. Now, to be fair, you could make that argument for a lot of teams in the championship, right? But for a team that is so far advanced compared to others tactically, that has the deep roster, that has the talent, you know that they can make a title run. When you're struggling for form down the stretch of games, yeah, it is that important. Because you set a standard for yourself, you go achieve it, and it almost provides you this comfort zone, a barrier, right? Like you can kind of put your arms out and go, okay, we've got a little help here, right? You're not swimming into the deep end of the pool without some assistance. And so you provide yourself that padding. You've got the 1-goal or 2-goal lead. And so that, unfortunately, if you do concede down the stretch, turns it into a draw, turns it into a 1-goal deficit for the opposition instead of 2. And so you still feel pretty good about yourself, because think about the games that they've played recently. Colorado Springs games, they control for 80, 85 minutes. They tie 1-1. It's a slip up at the end of it, right? The Atlanta United 2 game, the Memphis game. We could keep going on, and OKC Energy. And it just gets to a point where it also installs belief within a group that no matter what, you know that there is a constant there, and that constant is the starts for Louisville City. It is that padding they provide you at the beginning of the games.
And it's so interesting to talk about that padding, because that's maybe something they don't necessarily have in the standings right now. Just that 2-point lead over Birmingham. Danny Cruz said we like that pressure. It maybe helps us, it maybe motivates us a little bit more down the stretch to stay at our best. And 3 points seems like a must every time out, especially with that last game of the season being at Birmingham. Being on the road is something that Louisville City has gotten accustomed to. 11 of the final 14 overall on the road. There's a foul in the middle and a yellow card.
I said this as well, even throughout that stretch. No, they didn't close out games, and they probably should have gotten better out of them. But at the same point in time, Josh, they didn't lose.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. You're still able to get points. And, you know, when you come back home, what can you do? You know, they're setting the tone here. You've seen Ownby and Del Piccolo. Napo Masoso now getting involved. Great track back, good tackle, then turns and tries to stretch the game going the other direction. In the absence of Tyler Gibson, you will notice not as many long balls being sprayed side to side out of the back. It's certainly not what Speedy Williams was, but the transition to Tyler Gibson had become very comfortable. Now all of a sudden that changes. Gibson's injured, so you'll see a lot more of that from Tosh off the back line. A lot more connectivity of play from Napo Masoso. He just sort of ushers the game along, but he does it vertically. Tyler Gibson keeps you side to side, and every now and then will dink one of those long balls over the top. Napo Masoso is very forward thinking. He just has to make sure positionally he keeps himself in check.
There's Ownby again, putting this into a good spot for Lancaster. Ownby has won that battle with LaFleur almost every time. And it's another corner kick for Louisville City. That was also a Vivify yellow card. Moments go to Jake Davis.
Kind of occupying the same space there for Cameron Lancaster, Del Piccolo, all right around that little cutback. Also defensively, Caverad need to slide over more often than not, help out Isaiah LaFleur, especially with the struggles he's going through right now.
Jimenez on that left foot this time. It's flicked through, and Ownby has his header glance just over the bar. SKC put it back in play quickly. Some scores from around the championship tonight. An own goal early on for Hugh Roberts. And that's 1-0 to New York Red Bull 2. New Mexico and RGV, a big game out west with an early start tonight. Much more coming up as the night continues, all of them on ESPN+.
Tulsa, El Paso. Whew.
Every game in the Mountain Division.
Well,
almost
I don't
every
know
game.
about every game.
Almost every game.
Although last night, Real Monarchs in Colorado Springs. Whew.
How about Axel K?
Amazing.
13 years old, the youngest in not just soccer in America, professional sports in America.
The man-child. Got an opportunity to cover him at MLS Next Cup.
Yeah.
You knew that was something special. Someone asked me about it. Actually, someone from the Phoenix Rising organization reached out to me and said, were you aware of this? And is this kid any good? And I said, think Emil Heskey in the Prem back in the day, but with better touches. He's got a much better brain about him, and he's got that big frame. He's going to run at people, of course.
There's Bunbury cutting in field. Jimenez did well defensively to jar that loose.
I'd like to see a bit more of those three up front. 18 touches on the ball for the front three right now for Sporting Kansas City 2. 27 minutes into a game, it's just not enough. And I talked about the outlet and how there was a lack of that right now on the representation for the attacking core. Even if you're not providing chances, you're giving a chance for your back four to get a breather. It gives the opportunity for the midfield to take a breath here, Josh, because of all the chasing that you're doing. One of the most difficult things that you run up against with teams that are so possession-based, like a Louisville City, like a Rowdies, or an El Paso Locomotive, is you chase for so long that by the time you get the ball, your decision-making starts to get crowded and you think, okay, we got to go and we have to go now. And you make a poor decision, which leads to another one, and you end up giving the ball right back to them. Slow your mentality down, create a calmer disposition about yourself, because even though they're behind and trailing, it is only 1-0.
Openo gets tripped up. That's a penalty. McIntosh was flying off his line. Ownby made the diagonal run. And McIntosh, you can see his reaction. Nabil Ben Salah with the call. Kuwich trying to talk to the referee. And Louisville City will be going to the spot.
That's pretty close for me. Kendall McIntosh feeling a bit hard done on the challenge here. Looked really close because he does go horizontal with the dive. Ooh, that's really close. Now he gets a lot of the player. A ton of that left foot of Brian Ownby is hit. The question is here though is this ball can't go fully to the side without a touch by McIntosh. And here's the issue. Here's the problem you're going to have if you're a Sporting Kansas City II fan. He does create contact.
It's Lancaster. Sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Lancaster converts from the spot. And Louisville City lead 2-0.
He creates contact and he gets the ball, but it looks like he hits the player first, which is the main issue right here. Take a look back at the foul. Good little breakthrough. Here comes the explosion of speed by Brian Ownby. Love the diagonal, and right there does get a touch of the ball. It is not all ball, and there is contact with Brian Ownby, and there's contact by Cameron Lancaster in the bottom corner. Lancaster 16, Louisville 2. Quality start here for Louisville City.
That goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery. On the anniversary of his record-breaking goal a few years ago, it's Cameron Lancaster back on the score sheet again for Louisville City. And as you mentioned, goal number 16. Bunbury, who was fouled, sets up a free kick for Sporting Kansas City II. It's just past the half-hour mark. A long way back for SKC II. Davis provides the service. Ownby able to head this away. The ball served in, quickly cleared away again. Mushagalusa running at McMahon. Looking for Harris on the turn. That'll be a corner kick for SKC II. Again, it's Jake Davis. Another in-swinger. Again, head of the way, Del Piccolo. Ownby will get after this, and now it's a foot race. Two players in the same spot. This now comes into the middle. It'll fall kindly for Masoso, who's under some pressure now. Nearly came off there for Louisville City. This game opening up just a bit. Harris will take this on. Hubbard, see it go wide. Head of the curve, relief around the corner, serving Louisville, Central Kentucky, and Southern Indiana. That's advanced ENT and allergy.
One of the tifo behind the goal there. Bring the ruckus. Paolo Del Piccolo. There's a good look. I think he's done that. 3 goals past 2 games. Tell me the beginning of the season, Paolo Del Piccolo is going to have 8 goals. I'd show you a liar. Joke's on me, huh?
Sure is.
Del Piccolo's got 8 goals. Brian Ownby is approaching double digits in assists. Already a career high for him with 30 regular season assists. Reached tonight by Brian Ownby. Great to see him healthy and playing at such a high level.
And unfortunately, it's been a common trend that just injuries kind of sprinkled throughout the roster at different times this season. But Ownby, as you mentioned, has been a big part of this Lou City side this season. John back on the bench, Sharpie on the bench tonight.
I've maintained the constant rhetoric, Josh, that this team, when healthy, is still one of the most dangerous teams in the entire USL Championship.
Sure.
There's some chatter behind the scenes. Another heavy challenge on Napo Masoso. Some chatter behind the scenes, interestingly enough, from some front offices, both the Eastern and Western conferences, about Louisville City losing a step. I would heavily disagree with that. I don't see that at all. For them, it just comes down to making sure they have a quality team selection. You don't even need a full one. But when you're sitting 4, 5, 6, 7 guys because of injury, which they've had to do twice this season, that's obviously going to be a very difficult battle to win.
Soso thought he won that cleanly. And then, of course, he missed Jogo tonight. He's with the Mexico under-20 side in their training camp.
If you had to guess now, who would he commit to?
I was just thinking that. Oh, boy.
There's been so many stories, right? Between, especially in recent memory, good tackle, of players with the opportunity to go with either the United States or Mexico. In terms of senior selection, Efrain Alvarez is the one that's going to stand out. Los Dos, LA Galaxy too. Ricardo Pepi, absolutely. Guess he had himself a semi-decent night against Jamaica.
Just a bit.
Couple of goals, North Texas boy and FC Dallas.
And then you see Julian Araujo, he picks Mexico. I mean,
the other way.
It's just so personal to each player as this corner kick is bounced in.
David Ochoa.
Every player has their reasons. It's like college recruiting in a way. It all comes down to the player. What does the player see?
You know what, Josh? That's a very good analogy that I haven't heard from anyone yet. You hear the emotion, you hear those arguments, but especially if you've been involved in college recruiting. Some people look and they go, wow, you know, the guy had offers to play at UNC and Duke and Pitt, Clemson, Wake Forest, and he chose James Madison. Why, right? What's the family affiliation? That's another big one too, right? I can tell you for me, at the high school and collegiate level, in high school, I had an opportunity to go to our crosstown rivals. All of my friends played there. The club team that I played for that won state and regional championships, went to nationals a couple times, they all went there. I had an opportunity to move into that district. I didn't. I wanted to be like my brother. Collegiately, I was really close to going to Penn State because I wanted to be like my brother. I ended up choosing a different school there's a whole nother argument behind that. But it came down to family for me and what my family had done. And you can understand that for Jonathan Gomez. You know, you have Julian Araujo and Efrain Alvarez. I will say this, though. I don't envy being in their shoes.
No, not at all.
That's got to be one of the most difficult decisions from a career standpoint that you will ever have to make, because you can control domestically, for the most part, where you want to go and what you want to do. At the international level, you make that choice that you're straight and narrow the rest of the way.
Yep. That's why it's so different with every single player and what their decisions are. We'll see how that shapes up with Jonathan Gomez. Of course, he moves across the pond beginning of 2022 to Real Sociedad. It's a high boot and a foul. Introducing October's minority-owned business of the month, Deshays Cakes and Treats seeks to serve the community and surrounding areas by offering free birthday parties, celebration, or cakes for individuals in need. They understand that celebrating important days can be difficult when you are in unfortunate circumstances, so a portion of all money received from cake sales goes to fund a mission of celebrating all people on a special day. Miss there by Bunbury. We'll give it right back to Lou City. Got the scoring started in the opening 10 minutes. Paolo Piccolo, and then from the spot, Cameron Lancaster, just around the half-hour mark. Talked about that quick start from Lou City. Another one here tonight. They have been in full control.
It's been interesting for me, for both of these teams, how much of this game has been played on the outside of the field. If you watch, it's all on the wings. Sporting Kansas City II has basically had their midfield three, Kuich, Davis, and Cisneros, removed completely from this game. And when you've got guys like that who are so good at distributing exactly where you want to go, that's hard to make that adjustment on the road and against the Lou City team, and down 2-0.
Mushagalusa, you can see all the attention paid to him on the far side. Openo McMahon gets the cross away. Too far for Harris. Final 5 minutes before halftime. Under the lights here at Lynn Family Stadium on this Saturday night. Just one more home game in this regular season. A few weeks' time as they'll welcome in Memphis. Stay tuned for halftime. Talk playoffs. Playoffs? You're
Playoffs. We can officially say that now, right? 4 or 5 games to go. We can use that voice tone.
Well, we're a month from, basically a month from this weekend, will be the first round of the playoffs.
I can't add that far, you know that.
It's about 30 days.
Okay. See, that makes sense. A month, about 30 days.
Just want to make it as easy as possible with these numbers. Tosh for Bone. Long spell of possession here for Lou City. Now Bone will look to break the lines. Now Piccolo on the turn. The flag stayed down. Lancaster was still onside. Now it's Cisneros.
That's a great ball.
And behind for Bunbury. And Ownby tracking back defensively, puts it out. And it was last off of Bunbury.
Heck of a recovery by Brian Ownby, because this ball played out of the back by Sporting Kansas City II to find the youngster. Excellent vision and a perfect weighted pass put in behind. A little bit of spin on it for him to run onto.
Lancaster. Now Ownby. Whistle and a foul behind the play. Free games now. Ask us how. Go to louiscity.com/tickets and click on season memberships to find out how you can get the rest of 2021 free when you purchase a 2022 season ticket membership.
It took me a second to realize what the games were.
Okay.
Well, it says free games now. So recently I discovered on my remote control that for my, I got a new TV service. I can't say it out loud. And there's an apps and then games on it. So I've been discovering some of the games on my television. So it said free games now, and I was wondering on their app what they could be referencing. And then, as you know, the math hasn't exactly added up tonight. We're a little off kilter.
Okay.
And realized that, yes, in fact, it meant actual physical games.
Yes, at like when we were watching now.
Yeah, not like the mind one that's going on with my head.
Into 1 minute of stoppage time, and it's presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Bunbury. Square ball now, Davis. Kuich. Now Mushagalusa. Able to keep this alive. It's Davis who will take this on! Oh, that is a tremendous goal! Pick that out, Jake Davis. It's 2-1. That's one to remember.
There have been some really impressive plays coming off this foot of Jake Davis, but everything has gone the other direction. 6 assists on the season for Davis, finding guys like Harris and Mushagalusa. But the moment of magic from Jake Davis right outside the top of the 18. How interesting that it does come right in front of one of the strikers. There is that letdown for Lou City before half. There is that padding that we talked about. You cruise for 45 plus minutes, and just like that, we got a game in the second 45.
When you see Lou City's record when leading at halftime, they have only dropped points twice. But wow, that is one to remember as we get into halftime. Lou City, it was a bright start as they normally have, got 2 early goals. But that tremendous goal by Jake Davis has made this interesting going into halftime. It's presented by Serpro. It's Lou City 2, SKC II 1.
Hey, we're back.
And ready to hit the road again in this new RAV4.
This is one of the most versatile vehicles on or off the road.
No wonder it's the #1 selling SUV.
You got all kinds of room back here.
Connectivity for all your devices, and it comes in a hybrid that gets 40 mpg.
Now, during Toyota's fall savings, get 1.9 financing for 72 months on a new RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid with 2 years no-cost maintenance included.
It's pretty easy to see why RAV4 is #1.
Toyota, let's go places.
Commonwealth Credit Union has been ranked Best In-State Credit Union in Forbes magazine for a 3rd time. When we opened our doors in 1951, we named ourselves Commonwealth to remind us every day of who we're here to serve. Our friends, our neighbors, right here in the Bluegrass. And we've been bettering lives in our communities ever since. If you've never tried Commonwealth Credit Union before, Come check out what you've been missing. Because here, we see you differently.
Coming down the home stretch. Come on, horsey, you can do this. Yeah, come on, thigh muscles, you can do this.
Work out your long day with WBKI's Happy Hour.
Mom and Dad, you must be so proud.
We're proud of all of our children.
She has to say that.
Mom, she's so house proud.
Oh, yeah.
Bazinga, bazinga, bazinga. Ah! Are you trying to kill me?
7 o'clock on WBKI.
Louisville's my everything. A city full of dreams. Can't help but feel the pride, 'cause this is where I'm from. There's no doubt about it. This is where I'm meant to be. Got the world in my pocket, and as long as you are here with me, you're everywhere. Got you everywhere. Got you everywhere I go. We are Louisville. We are Louisville.
Welcome back to Louisville and Lynn Family Stadium. Halftime is presented by ServPro. Let's take a look at tonight's weather report, brought to you by Advanced ENT and Allergy. Ahead of the curve, relief around the corner, serving Louisville, Central Kentucky, and Southern Indiana. A beautiful night here for soccer in Louisville, but looking around the USL Championship, it's just about playoff time. These are the 4 teams that have clinched already. 2 of those in the Central, Louisville City and Birmingham. Then out west, it was Phoenix Rising clinching. They've also clinched the Pacific Division, the first team to have clinched a division across the USL. But looking at the bigger picture here, this could be a whole lot of fun come November.
Let's start in the Western Conference, Josh. If playoffs started today, El Paso Locomotive get the 1 in the Mountain. Of course, Phoenix Rising, as you mentioned, clinched the Pacific. But what about everybody else around them? Who gets the 4 in the Mountain Division? The hardest division in the entire USL Championship. Who squeaks into the final spot in the Pacific Division? Right now, Los Dos is there. A lot of people, yourself included, favor Oakland Roots. Sacramento Republic have a say. I love the opportunity of who could face in the next round. Switchbacks in Phoenix? Are you kidding me? San Antonio and El Paso? Give it to me all day long. And then, of course, the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay Rowdies. Right now, it runs through Al Lang. That can change later on tonight with a Phoenix Rising win. Birmingham Legion could be in the 2. Birmingham Legion could end up in the 1. Who knows? But you said you like the Miami thought, right?
I really think Miami, if they can get through Tulsa, I think they can give Louisville a run for their money.
Here's my argument. What I was saying to you is it comes down to scheduling for me.
Yeah.
And I don't think Miami will get the 2 because of the Charlotte Independence and their strength of schedule remaining. They play the Battery, they play Hartford, they play Red Bull 2, Loudoun, all of which are basically eliminated in this playoff race, and then they have to go to Austin. They've got 1 out of 5 games there that really means something. Otherwise, I think that team could squeak in a second, definitely 3rd.
It'll also be interesting. Louisville at Birmingham, last day of the regular season. That could be for all the marbles in the Central. The second half from Lynn Family Stadium is coming right up.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Hey, y'all. Can we change up the chores?
Sorry. It's up to the wheel, man.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, change the channel back.
Sorry, it's up to the wheel.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Around it comes Fox. Solik, the back heel in! What a goal!
It. Luna is shot into the back. Goal. Kiramoto has won it
SKC Energy FC. Oh, that is a brilliant goal from the substitute.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle, and we're back on the road in the aggressively styled, incredibly comfortable Toyota Highlander.
With your choice of a powerful V6
or best-in-class hybrid engine.
The Toyota Highlander can handle anything that comes your way.
And it holds its value better than anything in its class.
During Toyota's fall savings, get 1.9 financing up to 72 months on remaining new 21 Highlanders. Plus 2 years no-cost maintenance.
It's pretty easy to see why.
Highlander is #1. Toyota. Let's go places.
Nightfall here in Louisville, Kentucky. It's 2-1 to Louisville City. Halftime is presented by ServPro. A look around the USL Championship news and notes. We are getting towards playoff time, but some Kentucky soccer news. Lexington Pro Soccer joining League One in 2023.
I can't wait to watch the two of these teams beat the ever-living you-know-what out of each other in the U.S. Open Cup. You know it's going to happen. They're going to get matched together. That regional rivalry, they're going to have some fun, man. I'm here for it.
Just rig it so they can play. I don't even care.
I'm going to tell it right now. I am off that weekend. And every weekend moving forward, you're coming with me. We're going to the game.
Okay. I'm down for that. And then, of course, the Clear Audio Player of the Week, Lauren Kisadou for Memphis 901 FC. Big win over FC Tulsa. Here are the Central Division standings. That fight for fourth spot maybe starting to clear up a little bit with Tulsa and Memphis with those games in hand.
I think the biggest thing here is Ben Pierman and 901 FC and what they've been doing. You know, they've got to take on San Antonio for sure. But still, Josh, no matter what, it's the 1v2. It comes down to Louisville or Birmingham, and I have a feeling the way the games are going and the back and forth between these two, October 30th. It's going to be that game, who gets the 1 seed. Now, of course, Louisville City would like to make sure that's not the case and provide some of that padding that we referenced. But Birmingham Legion, there's too much balance at home and away. That game is going to be the match that decides who gets the #1 overall in the Central Division.
And they have 4 of their final 5 at home, including tomorrow against Indy 11. Coast Charities scoreboard, 1-1 in Charlotte. They've come back, and El Paso have gotten 2 goals past FC Tulsa.
How strange it is going to be, though, in the Western Conference tonight for some of those teams, because Tacoma Defiance, with a victory over Orange County, can jump to within 2 points of Los Dos. If Los Dos can't continue forward and get a result in their next match, and Oakland Roots somehow get a win on the road, not only can Oakland Roots jump into playoff position, they can be tied for 3rd with Orange County. And yet Tacoma Defiance, it's Tacoma Defiance at home. You know they're not giving up points, right?
They've started to be a little leaky there lately. I know.
And Sacramento Republic coming off the midweek loss to Oakland, still not out of it. Tacoma's got a game in hand on those guys, but again, a win tonight.
Never
Jump up
know.
with Los Dos, you're tied. They've got the head-to-head tiebreaker.
You know what?
Tell me.
That's why they play the game.
Bingo.
Second half from Louisville City. Can they hold on? It's 2-1. Second half on the other side.
At Mortensen Family Dental, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to keep your smile healthy. That's why we provide convenient online scheduling for new patients, accept most dental insurances, and offer an affordable dental discount club for those without insurance. All the while keeping your family's safety our top priority. Call or visit us online to make an appointment. We'll give you a reason to smile.
Hey, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle, and we're back on the road again in the rugged new Toyota Tacoma.
With a 3.5-liter V6, crawl control, and multi-terrain select, Tacoma can go anywhere and do anything. And Tacoma's been the #1 truck in its class for 16 years.
#1 in resale value, too.
We're not selling this bad boy.
Now, during Toyota's fall savings, get a new 21 Tacoma with 2.49 financing, with new Tacomas arriving daily.
People around here love their Tacomas.
Toyota, let's go places.
Hey,
what's up? I'm Ethan.
And I'm Danielle. Did you know Toyota has more all-wheel drive vehicles than anyone else?
15 to be exact, including the legendary off-road king 4Runner.
The best-selling Camry made even better with all-wheel drive.
This Venza hybrid that gets 40 mpg.
Or Sienna with a best-in-class 630-mile driving range.
Now, during Toyota's fall savings, get 1.9 financing up to 72 months on any remaining new 21 Sienna or Venza. When you run the numbers,
Toyota is #1.
Toyota, let's go places.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing right, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
Getting set for the second half. It's 2-1 to Louisville City. Halftime presented by ServPro. Let's go back and look at that first 90 minutes. Plenty of highlights to show you, including 3 goals. And we start in the 8th minute. This would be the first one.
It's all about the quick starts and the identity for Louisville City. Brian Ownby up over the top. Check the trailing run, top of the 18. It's what Louisville City has missed over the past couple of weeks, and it's what they've gotten over the past couple of games. Paolo Del Piccolo, 3rd goal in 2 games, 30th regular season assist for Brian Ownby. Louisville City out in front flying 1-0, but they would not stop there. 25th minute from the corner. Good little flick on Brian Ownby. Just up over the top. Not a bad effort here, Josh.
So close from Ownby. You expect him to maybe put that on net in future instances. 28th minute, and it was Ownby again. He creates the penalty.
When you go back and watch the video, if you're a Sporting Kansas City II fan, if you're Kendall McIntosh or Nagamura, you're going to get a better look here because he does get the ball. The problem is he clips the foot of Brian Ownby and then follows through. Hit the player, hit the penalty mark, hit the back of the net if you're Cameron Lancaster. 16th on the season in the 30th minute from the penalty mark on his anniversary, Josh. Great catch there when he set the record in 2018. Number 23 overall. Can he get there this season? Possibly. And yet, with as good as Louisville City were in terms of control and tempo and everything else they brought to the game, another letdown. Can't take anything away from the strike. Jake Davis, his first on the season, 6 assists to match that. Toppins, as my friends across the pond say. Hubbard couldn't get to it. 2-1 just before halftime. Danny Cruz going to be a bit frustrated with that one.
Hubbard hasn't had too much to do in goal as we look at the C&L Heating and Air halftime stats. Just those 3 shots, only 1 on target for SKC II, but it went in.
He took the most important assets away from Sporting Kansas City II. Bunbury touched the ball 6 times, Wilson Harris 7 times, Mushigalusa 12 times. The brunt of that actually came with about 3 to 4 minutes to go. This team has to be better closing out games and closing out halves. Finishing strong? Not necessarily. Look in recent history what has gone on at the close of the half. They conceded to Hartford. Remember, that got to 2-2. They were able to get 2 goals in the second half, make it 4-2. New Mexico United started their comeback tonight. Once again, add 2 more back in July in a 3-2 loss against Tulsa and a 3-3 draw against Indy 11. Josh, we talk about it. Against better teams, they're going to make you pay.
And Danny Cruz did call it his team's Achilles heel. We'll see what gives here in this second half. With Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday night with us. It's 2-1 to Louisville City here from Lynn Family Stadium. Trying to keep pace and keep that lead at the top, putting more pressure on Birmingham Legion ahead of their match tomorrow with Indy 11. And a couple of subs for Louisville City to start this second half. It is Jimmy McLaughlin and Wes Sharpie on. Antoine Opino and Alexi Suwahi have come off. And those subs are presented by MHS Global Above and Beyond.
I wouldn't say that Antoine Opino was particularly poor in the first half, but the way that Cameron Lancaster was creating space and Brian Ownby opening up opportunities, it's more balance on that front line.
The in-swinger looking for Tosh. And up and over and out of play.
It's going to come down to load management as well. And Wes Sharpie coming back from injury. Great opportunity here to mentally get some reps. Of course, the minutes are going to help too. Haven't talked about all the games that they have to manage here. You mentioned 11 of 14 remaining are going to be on the road. A lot of those they've already checked the box on. But after tonight, on the road Wednesday at 9:01, then the following Saturday, Indy 11. They will end up playing quite a few games here. 6 in the month of October over the span of 27 days. That's just over. Carry the one.
Oh boy, here we go.
A game every 4 days. Got that one right.
You did that to yourself.
It's actually a game every 4.5 days.
There you go.
And I can tell you, being in that, your body, Josh, even when you don't have injuries, it just starts to get to a point where you struggle to get out of bed. It's exhausting. And then you add in travel. If you're jumping time zones, it's not an easy thing to handle. Good chance for Danny Cruz and some of his boys to get some reps here and help each other out. All these games to close out October. Chase down that number 1.
Kuwich in the middle. Pressure from Corbin Bone. Rod will play this out wide. Pierre. Now the youngster Cisneros. Foul on the far side. Free kick to Louisville City. And this portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Up ahead for Harris. Pierre continuing his run. Harris played it to him late. Now it's Tosh.
Beautiful.
Playing out of tight spaces there, McLaughlin.
This is going to be a really important 5-10 minute stretch here for Sporting Kansas City too, much like you get in the first half out of Louisville City. They'll come out. Tons of plays in here. Usually you see start of pretty much every single half, first or second. Louisville City up tempo, a lot of high press, puts you in some really awkward positions when they can. I like the little step off the back line by Caden Pierre. Don't be afraid to swing back here. These youngsters sometimes can get rattled. They shouldn't be. They've got plenty of talent to get the job done.
Ownby looked to be pulled back. Still a chance for Louisville City. It's Lancaster with his shot blocked. Masoso will bring this down and now find McMahon. Masoso out wide, Ownby. Puts his foot through it, and this does stay in play. Lancaster. McLaughlin under pressure from Cisneros. Runs through for Lancaster. And McLaughlin ends the threat. Since 1947, Select has been leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com.
Come Isaiah! Come Isaiah!
was so much control in that first half from Lou City through about 45 minutes basically, and then the goal, and that is what has put an inkling of doubt into Lou City's minds as SKC II come forward again. LaFleur, Ushagalusa trying to play it to the end line. Jimenez, and now Sharpie.
Much better job here by Sporting Kansas City II. You can hear the direction from the sideline by Paulo Nagamura. When they start their movements, Josh, she's already giving them direction on where guys need to be before it even happens. So you're hearing shouts to Isaiah LaFleur. Even though the ball's moving from Graham Smith coming the other direction, he wants him higher because he's dragging runners with him, and that creates more space in behind him as well. Defensively, it makes Lou City drop back deeper, give them a bit more respect on the exterior, because as we mentioned in the first half, the guys on the inside, Ozzy Cisneros, Jake Davis, Peter Coach, they just weren't on the ball enough. Lou City were making them play direct, but as they were doing it, the line of the front three was so high for Sporting Kansas City II. It was really easy for Lou City to collect those balls and then start to create going the other direction. Now what you're getting, 8-10 minutes approaching here in the second half, is a much better response from Sporting Kansas City II. It comes down to positioning, and then the control factor is going to be the next step. Can they get that midfield three on the ball a bit more? Because you're already getting good distribution coming off the back line.
Now it's Bone. Del Piccolo. Lancaster just wide. Doesn't take long for Lou City to get into the attack.
Watch the little touch here that he grabs, because it's a great separation in space, but there's a little nudge there. Center back Cave Rod. He catches a little shoulder. Lancaster bounces right off him, maintains the equilibrium, and almost picks at that far post. That's the top quality you get out of Cameron Lancaster, even when he's in a 2v1 against himself and there's contact, he still finds a way to create.
You look at those sweet jerseys. These game-worn kits will be auctioned off at a later date, while matching retail versions and scarves are available at lousecity.com. And all proceeds will benefit Baptist Health's Woman Cancer Unit. Don't always see Lou City in white at home, but these are pretty sweet kits.
I'm here for those jerseys. Absolutely. There's a couple of teams that have some stuff going on. Lou City's got theirs going on. Orange County's throwing one out. Phoenix Rising's got another one for, I believe it's the local children's hospital, if I'm not mistaken. Love seeing it. New Mexico United have one.
I'm all about the alternate kits, the third kits, if you will.
Well, did you see that Madden incorporated?
Like the video game?
Madden, the video game, has incorporated.
McMahon is kept in play. McMahon squares this. Oh, that's a great save. And McIntosh does it again. Corner kick. Surely 3-1.
Hats off. Just sit back and marvel at the ridiculous athletic ability that you're going to get out of Kendall McIntosh. This should be in the back of the net.
McMahon out wide again, too far for Tosh. And let's go back and look at that again. It was that good.
For a long period of time, San Jose had a look. The Portland Timbers organization felt like he was going to be one of the guys. There is nothing done wrong here by Louisville City. This is just individual brilliance by Kendall McIntosh. You look at the numbers on the season, 12 appearances overall. He's got 22 goals against him, only 3 shutouts, and you think this guy struggles to get it done. Absolutely not. There's a lot of growing pains because of the youth within this system and this organization. But do not forget that individual capability is always on full display when given the opportunity.
Driven out wide and too far for Oscar Jimenez. Maybe an early save of the week candidate.
Special moments that help keep you within a game. Kendall McIntosh has just provided that for Sporting Kansas City II. 3-1 with 35 minutes to go. You don't want to be down at all, but 2 goals at Lynn Family Stadium. It's usually insurmountable. A team that going into halftime 11-1-1 when leading after 45 minutes, and all of a sudden you're staring down a pathway of a 2-goal, almost insurmountable lead. And yet your goalkeeper provides one of those special situations to help keep you within a match.
And these are all momentum plays. The goal at the end of the half going into halftime, that one was nearly 3-1, and you'd think that's probably lights out at that point. And yet we're sitting here, it's a 1-goal margin, and you get a guy like Wilson Harris on the ball. Harris trying to go near post, and Hubbard pushes this out of play. Corner kick.
This is one of those defensive transitions that we referenced as keys to the game for Louisville City. When the ball goes direct up over the top, Sean Tosh caught out a little bit. Wes Sharpie has to slide over, and the entire back line all of a sudden is out of sorts. This ball's going outside the post. Better safe than sorry for Chris Hubbard. But keep a keen eye on that back four. When you push that higher line, you open yourself up to more space in transition. That just comes down to communication and a quick little slide over.
Here's the in-swinger. And Ownby clears. Louisville able to win it back, and Tosh. Sean Tosh. Flicks it out wide, McMahon. Ownby. Cross block down. Ownby will get back on it.
I just realized something, by the way, as we talk about the playoff race. Charlotte Independence maintaining that 2-1 lead over New York Red Bull 2. Not only did Hugh Roberts score the goal for Red Bull 2 in the own goal in the 3rd minute in the comeback, Kevin Riascos missed a penalty. Why is Kevin Riascos taking a penalty?
Great question.
With all due respect to Kevin Riascos, the guys that are on that field right now, Enzo Martinez, Irvin Parra, these are the questions I ask myself.
McLaughlin, head for Masoso. Knocked out of play. You can add Sylvain Marveau, Oberton. Again, taking nothing
Christian
away
Fuchs,
from Riascos.
Christian Fuchs, Jake Harmon, Joel Johnson.
Some subs coming on. Christian Duke and Jamil Roberts. Ozzy Cisneros. One to come out, along with Mateo Bunbury.
You got to give
subs brought to you by MHS Global.
Give them both a little bit of credit here, Josh, because it wasn't an easy night for them. And, you know, for Bunbury, his average position just over the center line. Difficult for him to get into it. Not a lot of touches on the ball. And at his age, difficult to maintain confidence. You bring on someone like Jamil Roberts, who's a bit more willing to run at people. And then you add in someone like Christian Duke into the midfield for Ozzy Cisneros, who himself is just now coming into the spotlight here in the 2nd half. That's going to help you gain control. That's the idea anyway.
Is pushed away. McLaughlin for Ownby, who circles. And so there is that Charlotte score, 2-1. He scored both the goals, 66th and 67th minutes, to regain the advantage.
Of course, that game is 1-1. New Mexico RGB.
A lot of draws in that Mountain Division.
That puts them above the playoff line for
sure
United.
Does. You'll take it. And then El Paso, they were up 2-0. Tulsa's cut the lead in half, much like SKC II has done tonight.
They've only got 1 win in their last 5 and 2 in their last 9. El Paso.
El Paso?
Yeah. To be fair, there's only 1 loss in there as well. But that team has quickly let the #1 overall seed get away from them. They had a quality lead over everybody in the East and West.
A game against San Antonio the other day, back and forth. You don't usually see El Paso concede a stoppage time goal.
2 draws against Colorado Springs as well.
Yep. And then, of course, tonight the Pacific Division takes center stage with 3 matches out west. Now Piccolo, McLaughlin, and back to SKC II. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
So coming into the night, 9 points behind the Rowdies for the #1 overall seed. 4 games to go. The problem is there's 5 games remaining for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Mathematically, they're still in it. But you and I can probably both agree that the Tampa Bay Rowdies have the edge in that argument, correct?
Correct. Especially because Louisville City's going on the road. For
which
so
means that the Tampa Bay Rowdies have locked up the #1 in the East. Not easily, but they're not going to lose that many down the stretch.
Correct.
Especially with who they have to play, right? Loud and Red Bull too. You know, we talked about it at halftime. My question then becomes the #1 overall seed in general. If Louisville City, can't close that gap, obviously Birmingham can't. El Paso, in theory, could, but I don't see that happening either, which means Phoenix Rising is the only one that has the chance.
Oh, bad deflection. It's Brian Ownby. Put it across the face of goal. Lancaster tried to keep that in play, could not, and a goal kick.
Brian Ownby trying to change that song being sung just a little bit, and this is just tweaking the tune. Watch the backside. Missed little step up by LaFleur. He's had trouble all night long judging the balls coming back across. This is an easier one for Brian Ownby. Just head up, put a little tempo on this thing, spray it back across. That is really similar to the goal that Del Piccolo sticks into the back of the net against New Mexico United.
It's been a great season for Ownby. Already an assist tonight, and he drew the penalty. Going back to your conversation a second ago, Tampa and Phoenix.
It's Tampa and Phoenix. Yeah, that's the #1 seed. And so, you know, Phoenix tonight taking on Oakland Roots, who are fighting for their playoff lives. I mentioned if they get the draw, they would actually draw on points with Orange County, who's sitting in 3rd at 37. If Phoenix win, they go to 62 points, having played 28 games. The Rowdies would play their 28th game tomorrow, but they're at Pittsburgh, and they've never won at Highmark.
Played ahead for Lancaster, and the flag is up for offside.
And as we catch a disruption back and forth of trying to get the point across here, what I'm getting at is, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to October 30th, because this is going to come down Louisville, Birmingham in the Central, Rowdies, Phoenix, and the #1 overall in the USL Championship. And that slimmest of margin is really similar to what goes on here for Cameron Lancaster. Ball sprayed in behind. About a half a body length offside.
Now here comes SKC II, and that sailing out of play. Let's take a look at tonight's nuggets of the match, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Kentuckiana. First playoff win, of course, October 3rd, 2015 over the Charleston Battery at Fondy Brace in extra time. It's looking like the Charleston Battery are going to miss out on the playoffs. That is...
Hate to see it.
You do, and that sentence has not been said in quite some time.
Any idea who Louisville City lost to that year in the Eastern Conference Final? I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
The coach still coaches in the East.
Rochester.
Ah, look at it.
McLaughlin speeding forward.
Some very familiar names within that team, by the way. Pat McMahon, Kenardo Forbes, of course.
Alex Dixon.
Steven Dos Santos. And of course, the only player on Louisville City to receive a yellow card that night, Aiden Quinn. You love to see it.
Player down here is Peter Kuic, Croatian, second season with SKC II. 22 years of age. Tomo Nagamura talking with an assistant about maybe a potential change here.
Given what they have on the bench, there's really only one look unless you want to move a lot of players around. Bring in Jahonrod, the twin of Taverod. That's the like-for-like sub if you had to make that move. You hope to see him up and moving, as Peter Kuic has had his hands full in the midfield tonight for Sporting Kansas City II, the Croatian.
Do you know where their other brother plays, Cyrus?
I don't actually know the answer to that.
Forward Madison.
You don't even give me a hint. Okay, appreciate it.
We're going right for it.
You never go full Mingo, Josh. You just did.
I've gone full Mingo too many times. Kuic jogging back on. Just over 20 minutes to go. Louisville City still looking for that insurance goal. Won't come here, another foul. LaFleur. Touchdown to play by McMahon. It'll be a Louisville City substitution. Paolo Piccolo, the captain. MHS Global substitution above and beyond. Niall McCabe will come on. Gives us a chance to look back at that opener for Louisville City.
Paolo Del Piccolo trying to eclipse his career numbers here in 2021. Not known for his goal-scoring prowess, but that right there is the 8th on the season and the 30th regular season assist from Brian Ownby. Great ball down into the channel. Fantastic finish into the bottom corner by their captain, Paolo Del Piccolo.
So appearance number 25 for Niall McCabe, and he will don the captain's armband for these final 20 minutes. Mushagalusa. Duke touches this infield. Roberts. It's a deflected cross and a corner kick coming for SKC II. Be just the 4th of the match, but 2nd in the second half. I feel like a set piece could be a great way back into this for SKC II. It's the goal scorer and leader in assists on this side, Jake Davis. Smith was making the run in field. Here comes Lou City, Corbin Bone. Mushagalusa there to cut it off. He lost his footing, Ownby went over, no whistle.
That's one of those moments, Josh, where Sporting Kansas City II had the space and they just didn't pull the throttle. It's a rough ball from one side to the other. It allows Lou City to get back defensively. Got to be a bit more direct with their intent when given those chances.
Big challenge and a free kick. Boy, Jake Davis has been popping up in some great spots. There, wins the ball back and then wins a free kick.
Jimmy McLaughlin doesn't even see him coming, and he's blinded over this left shoulder, but what a response by the Rochester, Michigan native, Jake Davis. Little step inside, there's the explosion, closes the space down, and it's all about that long stride of his. It allows him to just carry the natural momentum, get a touch out in front of Jimmy McLaughlin, goes to ground for sure, but what this could be from what seems to be 22 yards out or so. You've got a couple of options here. We've seen what Jake Davis can do in open space. How about from a dead ball situation, Christian Duke can fancy himself. Jamil Roberts can hit a pretty good set one as well.
Big moment right here. Trying to create a distraction here. Harris, Roberts, Kuich, Davis standing around it. Now Christian Duke coming over. They'll flick it out wide. It's Wilson Harris. An interesting move there from SKC II. It didn't quite come off.
This isn't a bad idea right here. It creates a little shield, and what does it look like from the bird's eye view? Chris Hubbard. It's the stutter, Jamil Roberts. You wonder if he's going to put it on that wondrous left foot of his. Instead, little spin off by the center forward, Wilson Harris. That's a really difficult take, though, Josh, because you're going from a stopped position, quickly explode on your left, and then come back across your body, and you've got to get it to come across Chris Hubbard as well. I like those situations where if you're going to move it, use it to your advantage. A little touch stop hit, go old school. 2-3 guys standing over the ball. You can still create trickery, but move it around the wall.
Deflecting around, and Loose City couldn't get anything going on frame. SKC II able to clear this away. McMahon steps in. And that did deflect out of play. Well, fans head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next few minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/LouCityFC. Sharpie racing forward. Game still very much hanging in the balance. Ownby. And he was fouled. This just outside the area.
Not exactly sure what the argument is here from Enoch Mushagalusa. Arms around Brian Ownby. Ball gets lost a little bit, but dishing out hugs before the game's even over. Asking for the game shirt. Got to finish the 90 minutes first. Good job by Isaiah LaFleur to step in and provide a bit of help here. The problem is the dirty work had already been done by Mushagalusa.
It's a fifth-third free kick. Lancaster and Jimenez. Be Lancaster, and it's right at McIntosh, who's able to corral it.
By the way, Josh, I have been reminded via social media, appreciate all of you keeping me honest, that 2015 Rochester Rhinos team also included Sean Tosh in the first of his 3 USL championships.
Is he still tucking his jersey in 2015?
Oh, you know it. Vacuum sealed back then.
Did you ever tuck yours in?
Always.
Actually?
Absolutely. I
wow,
hated
okay.
I never had I was prim and proper when I played. My socks were always perfect. Shirt in, never untucked.
There's Tosh conceding another corner kick. There it is.
Love it.
I feel like in soccer, it's rare when you see a tucked in shirt.
In this day and age.
In this day and age,
yeah,
yes.
we're old school, man.
Yeah, sure. I like it.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of like the modern day polo, too. Most men don't tuck their polos.
True.
I tuck my polo.
Okay.
It depends. It depends.
Played in short. Roberts. Return this for Davis. Different angle.
He doesn't tuck his polo.
You don't think so?
No, not a chance. I think about the supporter section. You run through the Coopers, Los Morados, Groove Machine, who was always killing it all night long on the drums. Ledgehogs, pretty much everyone that I'm thinking about that I've had the opportunity to spend time with.
There's McMahon sliding in and winning it. Ahead for Ownby. Rod able to cut him off and concede a corner kick. The player's still down for SKC II. Looks to be LaFleur.
This has got to be the way that he falls on the tail end of it. This is a heck of an effort put forth by Pat McMahon, and wonder on the tail end of it, why does he play this ball off? If he cuts this back inside, he creates separation. Brian Ownby can continue his run. He can then go it alone or then cut it back across. Instead closes the space down. Nice to see LaFleur up and moving.
The in-swinger towards that near post. And this will be another Vivify corner kick. Towards the back post this time. Davis knocks this clear. Do you have a spot at the stadium that you want to sit when you go?
Well, the problem is whenever I go, I'm never allowed to sit.
Okay.
I'm always standing.
Next time
or working.
you go.
I've made it very clear that I feel like I need to make friends with the Modelo Bar.
Okay.
It's 72 feet long. That's a lot of love. You know, I got to go over, just caress it a little bit, say hello.
You don't have to stay in one spot the whole game.
I didn't realize that. You asked me where I wanted to sit. I answered.
Well, they Vivify yellow card to Jimmy McLaughlin.
But again, the suites are really cool. There's not a bad seat in the house. You get an opportunity to come to Lynn Family Stadium and check it out. It's worth it. They call it the Cathedral for a reason. I'll go hang out with the supporters. I'll breeze by the Estopano end over there. Check out the Modelo Bar. Futsal court outside. Heck, I might even sit down next to Danny Cruz.
Oh, whoa.
You never know. You never know. Easy now, McCabe. How about you?
I think it'd be Scouse's house. I like the vibes over there.
You're going to hang with the Liverpool faithful?
I know.
You know I love that, but for you.
I know. We can become friends just for a night.
They're good peeps.
SKC II still hanging around. No goals in this second half either way. Here's Rod. LaFleur trying to shape that cross in. Mushagalusa on the turn. Fires this across. Was put in a good area, still not gone. It's Davis who scores! It's a brace for Jake Davis. SKC II back on level terms. Oops.
He won't care. He won't mind whatsoever what the celebration looks like, because the most important thing, it's not the goal. Watch the ball by Jamil Roberts, because this is a striker out and out that has an opportunity to be selfish. Instead, he knows who's got the hot hand. Check the trailing run, just like you saw out of Louisville in the first half. The marksman, Jake Davis from Michigan, right at the top of the 18 into the bottom corner. The skip right in front of Chris Hubbard. It was just a hop, skip, and a little tumble back to the center circle for Sporting Kansas City II.
And a big smile on his face after he got back up too. What a moment though for Jake Davis. 2 goals tonight, one on either side of halftime. I think this is a bit of a surprise across the USL Championship tonight, as Wilson Harris wins this back. Now it's Roberts. Roberts scores! Pick that out! It's a top drawer finish from Jamil Roberts, and SKC II leads in Louisville.
Panic at the disco for Louisville City on this strike by Jamil Roberts. Just moments prior, laid it off for Jake Davis. I talked about how he was an out-and-out marksman. Now you can understand why. How good is this from Jake Davis? On the ball coming through, and then Jamil Roberts on the backside of it. The draftee out of Marshall. He won it for his college team in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and final in the national championships. He's a game changer, a winner, and that could be the winner for Sporting Kansas City II at Lou City.
A remarkable turn of events here at Lynn Family Stadium. And a couple of subs now both ways. As you saw Peter Kuich come off. It's Danny Barbier who has come on, the 23-year-old out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. And on the other side, Brian Ownby has come off. Abdou Baki Jam has come on. Or rather, that was Napo Masoso who came off. Those subs brought to you by MHS Global, Above and Beyond. So Masoso is off. Ownby did stay on.
Wilson, keep working, Wilson!
3 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Jam on the turn. It's Jimenez! Now it's Lou City's turn to equalize. Back and forth we go. 3-3. Jimenez, a big goal for Lou City. Presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery.
Well, it's turned into utter scenes here at Lynn Family. Look how quick they get the play back going. Lou City are hunting right now. Said it was panic after the supposed game winner by Jamil Roberts, and all of a sudden, a calmness has surrounded this Lou City team. Great response. Oscar Jimenez, his first goal of the season. Little change here in terms of shape, gives you the versatility to get more numbers going forward. They pivot to a 3. Pushes a higher line. You bring Jimenez to the right-hand side to advance his position. And he does. Gets you the game tire. And watch out. This is far from over.
Duke commits the foul. Let's go back and look at the goal.
And this is the little swing. So with the changes, now McCabe will drop deep. He'll give you that stretch that you want. This ball coming back across isn't hit with any intent to find somebody. This is about finding space. Lancaster late to the party. Oscar Jimenez, signed, sealed, delivered in the 88th minute to get at least a point. Can they salvage 3?
And this is in a really tasty position, a 5th-3rd free kick. And of course, it's Cameron Lancaster. Has scored so many big goals before, and this would be a big moment. It's Lancaster. Lancaster, it's saved. McIntosh able to push that up and over the bar. Corner kick.
Not without drama, is it? McIntosh was the one who kept McLaughlin off the score sheet. This isn't an extremely difficult save. This is about good technique, quality positioning. They get both out of Kendall McIntosh here to keep us even.
Ropapa Mensah on for Wilson Harris, presented by MHS Global. Experienced USL Championship goal scorer. Corner kick put into a good area, flicked through. They're saying that's a goal kick. Again, the 3 minutes of stoppage time presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Make sure you head to loucity.com/contest for a chance to win free flights, up to $250 in gift cards and more. loucity.com/contests. Played into space, Mushagalusa. Can he break the hearts tonight? Mushagalusa! He wasn't too far away. A high degree of difficulty.
This entire second half, Paulo Nagamura has been asking Mushagalusa to run at him. Turn, Mush, run, pressure, pace.
Come on, 2 minutes, come on.
Imploring him to gain some of that confidence back in one-on-one situations. Thought he had his moment.
this scoreline holds, it would be the first draw between these two sides over the last 10 meetings. Jimenez, too heavy of a touch, out of play. We talked earlier in the match about SKC II. They've been eliminated from the playoffs. The yellow card will go to Duke. But there's still the chance to play spoiler. It's a vivify yellow card to Christian Duke. If they can hold out for just a few more seconds, there will be a chance for Birmingham Legion tomorrow with 3 points to go level on Louisville City on 53 points. But first, a fifth third bank free kick. And Louisville win it late on. McCabe curls it in. Ownby into the middle! It's Lancaster at the death! Louisville City, 4-3 winners!
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. There are times in matches, Josh, where it's not about tactics. It is about character. Your captain steps off, you go down, you come back, and you find a way. And that will comes from Cameron Lancaster. 3 years prior, set the single season goal scoring record with 23. Bagged his 16th in the 30th minute. Grabs what you have to imagine is the game winner in the 94th. Josh, this team has conceded down the stretch so many times throughout the course of the 2021 campaign. 9 in the final 10 minutes. The padding that I talked to you about, that interesting note, they only dropped points twice. 1 loss, 1 draw. They always had the ability to give themselves that gray area to operate through. Not tonight. They concede twice. They go down 3-2. And they had only scored twice in the final 10 minutes. They get 2 tonight, and they get their 3 points.
One of the most dramatic wins of the season for Louisville City. They would not be denied at home and on this night. A gut-wrenching defeat for SKC II. They led 3-2 late on, but Louisville City are 4-3 winners. There is tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. It's Brian Ownby. Just incredible scenes tonight at Lynn Family Stadium. What a match this was. Lancaster with the winner. We'll come back and wrap things up, try to make sense of it. It finishes a dramatic 90 minutes in the books. Louisville City 4, SKC II 3.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing right, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
At Kroger, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level. We're But just because you can't get any higher than perfect 10 produce, that doesn't mean that we won't try. Because Kroger produce isn't just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Back to wrap things up from Lynn Family Stadium. The party goes on in Louisville, Kentucky tonight. 4-3, Lou City are winners over SKC II. Let's put this in some context now. A look at the live Central Division standings. Lou City up to 55 points. Birmingham Legion will play tomorrow against Indy 11 at home.
Dear Lord. I mean, that was some kind of stretch to finish things off, and that's a pressure-packed situation that Louisville City just maneuvered through. Advantage, top of the bracket for Lou City in the Central Division. Pressure now back on Birmingham Legion to maintain pace. A bunch of moments tonight that could have easily stood out. Of course, that man Cameron Lancaster is going to be the one that seems to get most of the highlights down the stretch.
A look at the good hand save of the game presented by Allstate. There wasn't a whole lot for Chris Hubbard to do because some of the shots he faced were just out of this world.
Jameel Roberts and his strike from distance and what Jake Davis was able to do. Still a good save by Chris Hubbard. I said during the broadcast, better safe than sorry in real time. I just want to be careful here as a goalkeeper. Good save.
And the players applauding the fans tonight. What a performance it was. Time to look at tonight's Toyota move of the game. And it was the game winner.
Of course it is. Niall McCabe knows that he's got a lot of bodies in here. Guess who? Brian Ownby. Taking candy early on. Signing death certificates out at the end of this game. What a ball back across. Heck of a finish by Cameron Lancaster. And Josh, lest we forget that this wasn't much of a game in the first half, was it? Paolo Del Piccolo down in the corner. Well done by Corbin Bone. Just a sprint to the top of the 18. 1-0 Lou City inside 10 minutes. You love to see it. You've heard it so many times before. And then the penalty. Bit of controversy, or so Sporting Kansas City II thought. There's contact here. There is ball, but he gets the player first. Brian Ownby goes down. Cameron Lancaster is going to get the opportunity. He steps up to the spot. And on the 3-year anniversary of the record breaker, he adds number 16 to his tally on the year.
There would be more in this first half. Lancaster sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. SKC II not pleased. They would be pleased about this from Jake Davis.
Brilliant from the youngster. Watch his first touch. This gives you the option where you can attack going forward. You can play a ball down into the channel. And then you can sit back and put the icing on the cake in all those options. Picked out in the upper corner. That made it 2-1. You got it to 2-2. You look on the backside of things. Let's make it. Yeah, why not? Jake Davis. First goal in the season, 6 assists. And you think, okay, we got something going here. Could it be? No. Yes, from Jameel Roberts, his second on the season from distance. Wilson Harris, well done. Love the fact, by the way, that on the second and third goal, 2 of your marksmen pass up an opportunity to go it alone and instead lay it off. Lou City has had trouble closing out games defensively. Guess what? They've had trouble offensively as well. They've only scored, coming into this match, 2 goals in the final 10 minutes. One of them was a blowout 4-1 victory against Sporting Kansas City II, and yet you get one back from Oscar Jimenez. And then the winner, Cameron Lancaster. Done it so many times before. You see what it means to the boys in white. Heck of an effort put forth by Sporting Kansas City II. Nothing Kendall McIntosh can do as Cameron Lancaster drops his 17th on the season, 4th of the night for Louisville. And the only thing they're going to care about is the 3 points headed into the win column.
That was tonight's game summary brought to you by Dan O's Seasoning. And look at the C&L Heating and Air full-time stats. And to note, that is the 3rd time this season Lou City has put 4 goals past SKC II.
Not a bad shout at all, right? The fact that they're able to knock that into the back of the net. For me, this came down to an interesting stat where shots on target, they only had 2 shots on target in the second half, Josh, at the 80th minute. 4 in the final 10-plus minutes, 2 in the back of the net. 3 points secured.
Well, that'll be one to remember here in Louisville as this season comes to a close. The playoffs on the horizon. For our entire crew, broadcast partner Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long. It finishes Lou City 4, SKC II 3. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.